Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Mind Map. Today's topic of discussion is biogeochemical cycles. First of all, we will discuss about the introduction of the topic. Then we will discuss about gaseous cycle, sedimentary cycle, functions of biogeochemical cycles, and lastly, importance of biogeochemical cycles. First of all, moving on to the introduction of the topic. A biogeochemical cycle can be described as the natural pathways through which essential elements required for living organisms are circulated. It involves cycling or movement of essential items through the Earth's atmosphere, hydrosphere, geosphere, and biosphere. The elements and compounds go through a series of transformations in the cycle as they move between the abiotic and biotic components of the Earth's ecosystems. These cycles are vital for sustaining life and ensuring essential elements and nutrients are available for organisms. The key elements and compounds involved in biogeochemical cycles include carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, water, and various minerals. Biogeochemical cycle can be classified into gaseous cycle and sedimentary cycle. Now let's discuss about gaseous cycle. The essential elements and compounds move in their gaseous form through the Earth's atmosphere in the gaseous cycle. Nutrients in gaseous cycle primarily reside in the atmosphere and the hydrosphere. These cycles are typically well balanced, with nutrients being replenished as quickly as they are consumed. Gaseous cycles exhibit rapid response to changes in the biosphere due to their substantial atmospheric reservoir. Water cycle. The water cycle, also known as the hydrological cycle, is the continuous movement and circulation of water on the earth. The water cycle is continuous and dynamic. It plays a critical role in distributing fresh water across the planet, replenishing water sources, sustaining ecosystems, and supporting life on the earth. The main process involved in water cycle are: the cycle starts the heating of the earth's surface, causing water from oceans, lakes, rivers, etc. to evaporate and transform into water vapor. As the water vapor rises into the atmosphere, it cools and condenses into tiny water droplets or ice crystals, forming clouds. When the water droplets and clouds combine and grow large enough, they fall to the Earth's surface as precipitation in the form of rain, snow, sleet, etc. Precipitation that falls on the land's surface flow over the ground as runoff or infiltrate into the soil to become groundwater. The water is also absorbed by plants from the soil through their roots and release it into the atmosphere by transpiration, which then become part of water vapor. In some cases, ice and snow can change directly into water vapor without melting, a process known as sublimation. Next is carbon cycle. Carbon enters the cycle through photosynthesis in plants, where they absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and convert it into organic compounds, primarily glucose, for energy and growth. The carbon is acquired by animals when they eat plants, incorporating it into their own biomass. The carbon is released back into the atmosphere by plants and animals during respiration. The process involves conversion of organic compounds into CO2 and water, releasing energy. Carbon is also released and returned back to the soil when decomposers like bacteria and fungi break down the remains of dead plants and animals. Oceans play a key role in carbon cycle. They absorb CO2 from the atmosphere, which can later be released back into the air. This exchange helps regulate atmospheric carbon dioxide levels. Nitrogen cycle. The cycle starts with nitrogen fixation, which involves conversion of atmospheric nitrogen gas, that is N2, to ammonia, that is NH3, or ammonium ions, NH4+, by specialized nitrogen fixing bacteria. Plants take up ammonia and nitrates from the soil through their roots, using nitrogen to build amino acids, proteins, and other nitrogen containing compounds. After plants and animals die, decomposers like bacteria and fungi break down their organic nitrogen compounds by ammonification, converting them into ammonia, that is NH3, or ammonium ions, that is NH4+. Ammonium ions undergo oxidation to form nitrite, NO2- with the assistance of bacteria like Nitrosomonas and Nitrococcus. Subsequently, the nitrite is further oxidized into nitrate, NO3-, a process facilitated by bacteria such as Nitrobacter. Specialized bacteria like Pseudomonas and Theobacillus facilitate the conversion of nitrates back into the atmospheric nitrogen gas or nitrous oxide, releasing it into the atmosphere. Sedimentary cycle. The primary repository for these elements is within the Earth's crust, predominantly in soil and sedimentary rocks. They generally have two phases, a solution phase and a rock or sediment phase. Sedimentary cycles are characterized by their extended durations for completion, making them less efficient in terms of circulation. The essential nutrients can become sequestered within reservoirs, causing delays in their release and subsequent reintegration into the cycle. Phosphorus cycle. The cycle begins with the weathering of rocks and minerals in the Earth's crust, which releases phosphorus into the soil. Phosphorus in the soil is absorbed by plants through their roots in the form of phosphate ions. Phosphorus moves through the food chain, which transfer it from lower trophic levels to higher ones. Decomposers break down organic material of dead plants, releasing phosphorus back into the soil as organic phosphate. Geological processes like tectonic plate movements can uplift sedimentary rocks, exposing them to weathering and releasing phosphorus back into the cycle. Sulfur cycle. Sulfur enters the cycle from various sources including volcanic emissions, weathering of rocks containing sulfur compounds, and anthropogenic activities like burning fossil fuels and industrial processes. Sulfur present in the form of sulfates in the soil is taken up by plant. When animals consume plants or other animals, sulfur is transferred through the food chain, becoming part of the biomass. Sulfur-containing organic matter is returned to the soil and atmosphere on death and decomposition of plant and animal. Volcanic eruptions also release sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide gases into the atmosphere. Now let's discuss about functions of biogeochemical cycles. First is nutrient cycling. Biogeochemical cycles facilitate the recycling of nutrients such as carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and others through living organisms, the atmosphere, soil, and water. Energy transfer. Biogeochemical cycles are in essence the pathways through which energy is harnessed and transferred within ecosystems. Maintenance of ecological balance. It helps in maintaining ecological balance by regulating the availability of nutrients and preventing the accumulation of excess substances. Climate regulation. Alterations in biogeochemical cycles can have significant implications for climate change. Sustainable agriculture. Understanding nutrient cycles is crucial for sustainable agricultural practices. Global biogeochemical feedback. These cycles are interconnected and can have global scale feedback. Now lastly, let's discuss about importance of biogeochemical cycles. Enables nutrient recycling, contributes to sustaining life by providing essential elements nutrients. It maintains energy flow in the ecosystem, regulates essential processes in the environment. Nutrient cycles such as the nitrogen and phosphorus cycles contribute to soil fertility. Efficient biogeochemical cycles improves the water quality in rivers, lakes, and oceans. Sustainable resource management and climate change mitigation. Now moving on to practice questions. First of all, prelims based question. Consider the following statements. 1. Sedimentary cycles are much longer than gaseous cycle as atmosphere and hydrosphere are their primary reservoir. 2. Carbon cycle and water cycle are the example of gaseous cycle. Which of the following statement or statements is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 nor 2. And now mains question. What are different types of biogeochemical cycles? what are some human activities that can disrupt biogeochemical cycles, and what are the potential consequences for ecosystems. So that's all for today. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching.